Hello and welcome. I'm Maria Ressa. This is Rappler Talk. Sitting with us today is the Philippines' new Environment Secretary, Gina Lopez. Gina, thank you for joining
Hi,
us.
Maria.
It is so good to see you again. And I guess the first thing I want to go through is you had such a tremendous support from President Duterte at the State of the Nation address. How did you react?
Oh, I don't know how I can find the right adjective for that. I was like overwhelmed and yeah, I was like, ano, the Tagalog word is like kilig, no? Like, oh my God, yeah. Yeah, I was really, yeah, I went to thank him after.
And
Yeah.
and I guess what does this mean for you taking this position? You're a very, very strong vocal advocate for
Yeah.
the environment for many years. What does this mean for you shifting from being an advocate to now determining policy?
Um, I love the job that I'm doing because it's the power to make things happen, and that's what really, that's what moves me. And and what's happening now is that as we go and address the concerns, is those situations which need addressing show that there should be changes in policy, and so and that's actually the legacy that I would like to leave. A policy environment which is more protective of the environment, and a policy environment wherein the processes are actually more conducive to the common good, instead of something which is shady and anything can happen and you can play around with it. So there are shady areas here, and there are procedures which lack tweaking, and I have every intention to tweak it in the service of our country.
When you were thinking about whether you were going to take the job, when you assessed moving forward, what was going through your head? What made you decide to take it? What do you want to do?
Well, the first thing, years before, there was the option of going a political route, and I had toyed around with the idea because of the power it entails. And my meditation teacher told me, no, it's not good. Politics is messy, it's just really, yeah. And then I decided, okay, that's it. And then when I went on, I saw that really the arena of politics, it's in many areas, it's a thirst for money, it's a thirst for power, and it's just messy. And so that was my first thing, because I meditate every day for an hour and a half, and that's the essence of my life, my spirituality, my connection with the divine. That's how I feel fulfilled, and there is no way I would ever sacrifice that for anything. And that was my main thing. And then secondly was my family. I wanted to make sure everything was okay. What happened is I think he asked me, I can't even remember, one day, and then the next day I was meditating, and I was looking at the situation that existed before me with a friend I sit with, like a therapist kind of thing. And we looked at it, a co-meditator.
Okay.
And we looked at it, and in the space I just felt this tremendous feeling of the divine. It's like when you meditate, you feel God, and it just came in the space, and then I felt the energetic heart of the country. It was a really, really, really beautiful space, and I saw that if I take this and I'm able to maneuver this well, it would be good for my own spiritual growth, and it would be very, very good for the country. So therein lies the challenge.
And now that you're in, it's about a month in, right? Well, not even a month in, right?
Yeah.
Now that you're here, how do you said politics is messy.
Yeah.
It is powerful position, but how is Gina Lopez handling this?
Okay, in the beginning it was like really hard to meditate. Like, I understand why people get old, no? Because you have so many thoughts are coming in and out, and you're so concerned. And then I have an impatience with things which aren't done well, and I have a particular even emotional reaction to social injustice. So, but you can't get antsy about these things. You have to kind of keep your cool. So that's my opportunity for spiritual growth, to really keep cool and calm and not let my things get the hold of me. It's an amazing, amazing opportunity, Maria, to give back to the country. I'm really very excited about it because in the ABS-CBN Foundation, I was always looking for money.
Yes.
And then here, my God, the government has money. And it's just so exciting. I don't have to look for money anymore. I just have to make sure that the money is well spent. And then the challenge here is because even if we have a lot of money, if I don't have honest people on the ground, and even more important, that people that resonate with my values, people that can think out of the box, that can see how we can use the money well, whatever money I have, it's just going to go, it's not going to have any impact at all. So therein is my challenge now, is to have the receptacles that can use the money that the government is giving in a really, really good way. Not only honest, in an efficient, creative way, like be with me as partners for the environment and our people. That's the challenge.
What are your priorities now?
That, getting my team together, that's very key. You know, I can only do so much. If I don't have the right team, it's just not going to happen. And you know, yes, my central team is key because they're the team I work with. But just as important are the provincial level team.
Yes.
They're the ones that, you know, give out the permits. They're the ones who know what's happening on the ground. And because I also want DNR to just be more than a regulatory agency, you know, what excites me is going out and making a difference. So like the National Greening Program, I want to convert that from just a reforestation thing into an agroforestry, which is partially happening, and to make that an arena where we can work together with the community, the farmers, the youth. And like La Mesa, where I'm earning like 40 million, I mean the La Mesa Eco Park, you know, and the La Mesa Watershed, I'm earning like 40 million a year. So why can't we do that in all our national greening program? Like each zone becomes an arena where the civic society can get together and kick ass the economy for the benefit of all. That's very exciting to me.
Gabby used to joke that you should be in government. You really are in government now.
I know, at least I didn't have to work for it. No campaigning, nothing. Okay, you want it? Yes. Yeah.
Team, you're talking about a team. You have a huge bureaucracy in DENR. How are you going to transform this into this dream
Well,
team
the
that
first
you have?
thing I'm doing, and I'm almost done, is restructuring the organization to make it fit what I want to do. You know, I want to work with the civil society. I'm very much into enterprise development. I want the regulatory arm, you know, to be, you know, because the regulatory arm is a tool for social justice.
Yes.
It's a tool for truth, service, and the common good. If it's done well, it can also be a tool for corruption and enrichment. So that's very, very important to me. Convergence, you know, I'm going to have a team just for convergence, because at the end of the day, one person or one institution can't make a difference on their own. So I'm looking at convergence on an area management approach, you know, like choosing areas which are, like for example, Sibuyan, the planet's densest forest, what do you call these, Batangas, the center of marine biodiversity of the planet. I mean, my God, no? And then we have Palawan, the number one island destination of the planet.
Yes.
How lucky are we, right? So moving that all into something where it can be, you know, and if I do that, then we set up models. I'm also a firm believer in models because it shows that if you can do it here,
It can be replicated.
it can be done everywhere. And we want to prove those models statistically.
Let me ask you about your shift from private citizen with very strong advocacies to now being the policymaker. I mean, one of the things I'll always remember was the kind of debate match you had with Manny Pangilinan on mining.
Yeah.
You took very strong positions on mining. I mean, how does the Gina Lopez activist transform into this regulatory person who will need to get the buy-in of people like Manny Pangilinan?
Right. Well, it's the rule of law. You know, it's just what the president said. No, I clearly can't make decisions emotionally. As a national, as a cabinet minister, and then I have to follow the rule of law, and I have every intention to do that. I am thankful that the rule of law actually protects the common good. No, having said that, I do recognize that there needs to be a considerable amount of equilibrium so that the different stakeholders involved feel there's a sense of fairness and justice, and they haven't prejudged. They haven't been prejudged.
Right.
So again, I am not against the mining industry, but I am in favor of the common good, which is enshrined in the Constitution, which is enshrined even in the mining law. And that's what we'll just follow the rule of law.
How are you going to find the balance between protecting the environment and development and growth?
Oh, protecting the environment brings growth and development. I mean, that's my consistent, repeated experience, like in Ugong Rock, which I think you know of. You know, we protected the environment there, and the community is making 30 million a year now. I have 4 areas in Puerto Princesa where we took on the environmental route, and they're making 40 million a year. I mean, over and over again in Sarangani, where we gave 1 million and we made it environmental, they're upping the mile on the second year. I have no doubt about it, you know, and we will prove it that in these models, that if you improve the quality of air, water, land, whatever, corals, there's a direct impact not only on the economy, but even on your peace of mind, and even on your health, even on the, I would even venture to even say even on the drugs, since that's very close to the president, even on crime. Because it's the world you live in. And if the world you live in is pristine and beautiful, then you can rest on it and it makes you feel good. It will absolutely have impact on many, many levels of your quality of life. And we're going to prove it statistically. Like, you know, now I'm saying like this, no, but we'll measure it. You know, we're getting university, in the models where we're getting universities to take the baseline data of the environment and then of the quality of life indicators, including happiness, like Bhutan.
Which is great.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then as we improve the environment, see what happens to the economy, to peace and order, to drugs, to whatever. And if we show consistently in many, many models, there's a very direct correlation between the environment and the quality of life and the economy, we have said, this is a model for the country. Why don't we do this? That's what I would like to do.
Looking forward to that. I mean, the other thing that you started almost as soon as you walked into office is the audit of the mining.
Yes, we will follow the rule of law.
And when do we expect to have the audit?
We have 1/3 done, and it should be done by the middle or the 3rd week of August. And we're doing Mindanao now.
And will this determine policy, or this will determine?
Oh,
the impact
absolutely.
on each of those?
In the process of doing the audit, I'm discovering many things. And I said, this would never have happened if we had the right policy. For example, you know, permits are given. I mean, for me, the process should be, there should be an environmental clearance first.
Correct.
Before you do and venture and go into anything and say that you should even consider this.
Right.
But that's not the procedure that exists today.
After you set those policies, one of the biggest problems is law enforcement. Right?
Yes.
Many of the smaller mining firms, even the large firms, could actually do things and not be stopped because of corruption, because how will you deal with these problems?
Well, I'm so fortunate that we have a General Baton. And then General Bong Visaya was actually worked with me when he was just a colonel in the Pasig River. He helped me clean the first estero. And they have both assured me, that during this term they will absolutely safeguard the common good and safeguard the law and safeguard the environment. So I'm good.
Fantastic.
I think we're good. We have a good team.
Let me ask you now about the Filipino public. How would you describe the Philippines today and the public that you serve? What is it like?
What I feel is the basic trait of the Filipino is this heartness. They really feel, you know, I think that's why they voted for Duterte. It hit there. I don't think you can win any election unless you're able to touch the Filipino heart. With your question, I see. So, and they're also more, I think the Filipino people before were more like laid back. You know, you could do whatever you want. And now they won't take shit anymore. And they're really, like, that's it, you know, enough is enough. Like there's, and the fact of saying they won't take this anymore, there's like a waking up. There's like a maturation, because when you say, okay, like this, you do that, it's like, yes, after your question, I do see an evolution of public consciousness, which I do think is very, very healthy.
Working with this action-oriented president,
I love it, because I'm also like that. It's just so me. I just love it, you know. I mean, I totally resonated. He said, in one debate, he said, yes, I agree with you, and I think he is good, but I'm going to make it happen. And even with me, I get bored with procedure. What really gets me excited is when I make things happen on the ground. And that's why what we're adopting in DNR is an area management approach, where things really happen on the ground. I don't want to just be on the level of policy and whatever. I'm really more of an operations person.
So real impact, real change.
Yeah, that's what makes me happy.
So coming up now, what do we expect from DENR in terms of action, and then what things will you set in place for the future?
Well, I think that one, if we upgrade the quality of our staff at the ground level, there's going to be an immediate impact. To the inclusion of civic societies, a massive, massive, massive inflow of force without increasing our costs.
Yes.
And they're the ones who really care because they live there.
Yes.
Now, if we input them into the whole process, like I have a hotline now and an email, which you can see flashed on the screen, which means if we do this, we involve civic society. For me, that is the biggest safeguard of the environment, because before, civic society was in a contrarial relationship with DNR because they were never happy with our policies, and it was always like this. It shouldn't be the case. We should be there to serve them, and whatever their concerns are, we should make sure that they're well. And so that's what I would like to do. The third thing is that I'm really very much, I come from a business family,
Right.
So enterprise development is in my DNA. I see the benefits of it. And I feel that because we have DNR holds sway over thousands of hectares of inalienable land, which has tremendous natural resources. What if we do joint ventures with the indigenous people that live there and work it so that they benefit? We'll go a long way in eradicating poverty because those resources are under my authority. We just have to maneuver it that the resources in the Philippines are utilized in a value-added way to benefit the people. And I am going to do that. So I need businessmen who are socially oriented. I need youth who want to do something with their lives. I need idealistic people who can come and help. So DNR is open for business, and it's open to serve you. And yes, please come and help us.
This is the Gina Lopez
Oh
that
my
we've
God, I'm
seen
so
through the
excited.
years, right? My last question is
Yeah.
is actually about President Duterte, the administration that you're part of, the cabinet meetings that you have. In general, he's acted so fast. But
Yeah, he's really like that.
The
yeah.
one thing that makes people afraid is just the number of killings that have happened along with the war of drugs. So
Right.
how do you look at this? How do you guys discuss it?
Yeah. This is my perception on it.
Yes.
I think this is how he's thinking. And this is just how I see it. I think, when you have a war,
Yeah.
you have a war, and when you're a war, you shoot, you kill, and then you want to win the war because you're fighting for the life of your people, for the betterment. And the way he sees drug lords in particular, they're like, you're having a war, and they're killing our families, our children for generations and generations to come. They only thinking about the money they have, and they're the enemy. That's how he sees it.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to let that enemy win. And the only way to fight that enemy is to kill them. And what's happened is by making a few examples at killing the enemy, I don't know, I think like 10 or 12,000 drug lords have surrendered.
Yes.
Maybe, and I'm not making any judgment call or whatever, just maybe there is a value of taking the strong approach and showing you mean business. And maybe for the sacrifice of 2 or 3, but hey, if we get rid of drugs and if these drug laws just stop making money in the Philippines killing our youth, then you can measure. It's either the lives and welfare of thousands of youth or 2 or 3 or whatever, how many drug lords that have been killed, and then you measure, no? And then you see. I just want to give like when you see a person, you kind of have to go to the person's heart, and then you judge the person. That's the fair thing to do.
Yes.
You see where the person's coming from, and at the end of the day, is it worth it? I think that's the right thing to do. And I think he sees it like as a war, And I don't know, he seems to be winning the war, no? He's doing really well, no? And maybe you gauge it. So he's killed some and put out a message, and then how many lives has he saved for now and in the future? And then you decide, was it worth it or was it worth it?
Last thoughts, Gina.
I love this country, Maria. I totally love this country, and I love the people. You know, I actually think we can bring peace in Mindanao. Is that really naive of me to say? But I really, really think we can do it. You know why? It's because the reason Mindanao is so rich with natural resources, and the reason why there's angst like that is because of the social injustice. And when I speak to the people in Mindanao, their just hearts are just, they're just so easy to touch. And I feel that if we just remove the social injustice and then just converge and mobilize resources there, I've met MNLF and I've met ex-NPAs, and I said, they're really nice, no? And I feel they're really good people.
Yeah.
In fact, they're better than some of the businessmen I've seen that just want to rape the country, and they just feel for the country. And I feel that if we can just join hands with them and show them that we're sincere in making the country a better place and making Mindanao good, and they feel it, like the poverty goes up, the poverty goes down, and you see it, like the communities really come up and they'll say, they really mean business. And I think we can, you can't talk peace if there's rape going on and social injustice. Now you address the social injustice on the ground, and then I love the people in Mindanao, and I've met NPs. And, there's some leftists in the president's cabinet, and they're super, super nice, no? Like really genuine and sincere. Yeah.
It's a
I don't know about
broad
Abu
base.
Sayyaf, no.
That one, let's not go there.
No, yeah.
Well, thank you.
Okay, darling. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Gina. It's we've been speaking with environment advocate, now the Environment Secretary, Gina Lopez. I'm Maria Rasa. Send in your questions. #Rappler Talk. Thanks.